Hello everyone, I'm Kanupriya Sharma and I welcome you to this video solution by GMATQuizMaster. The question that we are going to discuss today is an easy weekend question from the official guide. If you are in the initial stages of your preparation and struggling with weekend questions, this is an important question that can help you understand what a correct weakener can and cannot do. What should you expect from the correct answer choice for a weekend question? Also, a trap choice in this question challenges the premise. A lot of students who do not understand that they cannot challenge the premise fall for this trap. It is also a transition from very easy weekend questions in which the correct answer choice clearly conveys the correct meaning to slightly more difficult. Even though the question is easy, still it is slightly more difficult because you have to understand what the correct answer choice is conveying. The impact of that choice is not explicitly mentioned. So let's get started. Let's start with passage analysis. Last year, a chain of fast food restaurants whose menu had always centered on hamburger added its first vegetarian sandwich. Let's stop here. So, we are talking about this chain of fast food restaurants, and last year something happened. Now, what is given to us about this chain? The menu had always centered on hamburger. So, this is an always thing. It was always true that earlier it was always centered on hamburger. And last year, they added the first vegetarian sandwich. So, there was no vegetarian sandwich option before this. Last year, it was added. All right, much lower in fat than the chain's other offerings. So, what are the two things about this particular sandwich, this particular edition? What is the new thing about it? One is that it is the first vegetarian sandwich, and the second thing is that it is much lower in fat than the other offerings. All right, so these two things make this veg sandwich different from the existing offerings. All right, despite heavy marketing. So, even though heavy marketing was done, the new sandwich accounts for a very small proportion of the chain's sales. So, even though a lot of marketing was done, the new sandwich is responsible for only a small proportion of the chain's sales. So, what does that mean? So, if let's say 100 products were sold per month for this particular chain, then a very small proportion, so maybe 5 out of these 100 were for the new sandwich, remaining 95 were for the other products. And this is even after heavy marketing. So efforts were made and it was expected that the sales would be more, but even after this heavy marketing, the sandwich accounted for only a small proportion. Most of the sales came from the other products. All right, let's read further. The sandwich sales would have to quadruple to cover the costs associated with including it on the menu. Now, we are talking about how much the sales should be in order for the sandwich to cover the cost that is associated with it. So let's understand it. For example, the this particular chain has to spend $1,000 a month to include this sandwich. So this is the expense for including the sandwich in the menu, right? All the raw material that needs to be procured, all the people who need to be there to prepare it, all the other ingredients, the processes, the machines, anything. So expense comes out to be $100 a month. But the sales right now are like $250 a month. Expense is $1,000, sale is 250. So this will have to multiply 4 times for this to be able to cover this expense, only the input cost. Not about, we are not going into profit. It is just saying that it is so less that it will have to multiply 4 times, it will have to increase 4 times to be able to cover this cost. All right. Since such an increase is unlikely, so the author is saying that this is unlikely. They're not saying it is impossible, but it is unlikely. And because this is unlikely, the chain would be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich. So, this is the conclusion here, that the chain would be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich because the sales cannot increase this much. Most likely the sales cannot increase this much, so it is better to drop the sandwich in order to be more profitable. Now, what is important here is that the conclusion is about being profitable. That is, what is profit? Profit is revenue minus investment or expenses. But the thing to be noted here is, one thing is that it is about profit. The second thing is about it is the profit. The second thing is that it is about the profit of the entire chain. It is not just about the profit that is coming from sandwich. So we are talking about the total profit here, which means we are talking about the total revenue and we are talking about the total expenses, and not just the ones that are the amount that is being spent on the sandwich and the revenue that it is earning. We are not limited to that scope. We are talking about the total profit, the total revenue, and the total expenses for that chain. So based on this sales of the sandwich, the information that we have is about the sale of this sandwich, and it is not likely to increase as much. That is the information that we have. And from there, we are jumping to make a conclusion about the profit of this entire chain, which is dependent on a lot of other products, all the products that it is selling, right? So that is the jump here. So with that, let's move to update our bridge table. So if you understood the passage logic properly, mark a tick here. However, if you missed anything in the profit logic, understanding the passage, sorry, if you missed anything while understanding the passage, mark across here and write what exactly did you miss here. So let's understand what the correct answer choice needs to convey here. The question says, which of the following, if true, most seriously weakens the argument? Now, what is the characteristic of a weakened choice? One thing, it will bring in new information. Secondly, that information will make us question the conclusion, will make us question the conclusion. Now, what is meant by questioning the conclusion? The choice should help us doubt the conclusion. It does not necessarily have to break the conclusion. So, in case you start looking for an answer choice that will definitely break the conclusion, you can skip the correct answer choice. That is something wrong that you are trying to do. So, always, whenever you are trying to find a weakened answer choice, you have to look for an answer choice that can help you question the conclusion, that helps you raise doubt on the conclusion, that makes you think that, oh, maybe the conclusion may not be correct. You don't have to necessarily find a choice that tells you the conclusion will definitely not be correct. All right, and definitely it brings in new information. Now, the conclusion here is that the chain would be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich. So, what will the correct answer choice convey? It will give us some information that will convey that the chain may not be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich. Notice the word may not be. I'm not saying that the chain will not be profitable. We are not looking for that definitive information. We are just looking for an answer choice that can convey that the chain may not be profitable, and that will help us raise doubts on the conclusion, and that will be the correct answer choice. Now, this is something that you must think about before you start evaluating the answer choices. And for every answer choice, you need to evaluate whether it conveys this or not. The other thing is, if you are comfortable, you can think about some scenarios in which this can happen. One such scenario can be that inclusion of sandwich, or rather, this new sandwich, leads to more customers somehow. Even though its sales are not that much, it attracts many new customers who buy other products. So other customers, increased number of customers are coming and buying other products because of this sandwich. Somehow it is attracting them. So that can be one such scenario. And with this, let's move to update our bridge table. So if you were able to identify what the correct answer choice needs to convey, then it's good. If you if you're understanding, if you did not understand that it does not need to break the conclusion, or you did not even think about what the correct answer choice needs to convey, or you misunderstood it in some other way, mark across here. Choice A. Although many of the chain's customers have never tried the vegetarian sandwich, in a market research survey, most of those who had tried it reported that they were very satisfied with it. So, what is this choice conveying? It is saying that most of the customers of this chain have not tried the vegetarian sandwich, but those who tried it, most of these people who tried it, they were very satisfied with it. Now, if you thought that this choice indicates that, okay, if we increase that customer pool who have tried the sandwich, the sales can increase. If you had that understanding, you were wrong. That is, more customers would mean more sales, and that can increase the profitability, then you were wrong. Why? Because you ignored an important piece of information, you ignored a premise that has been given to us that this increase is unlikely. This is a premise given to us and we cannot doubt it. We have been told that this increase is unlikely. So, any information that conveys that, okay, this increase can happen is incorrect. We cannot consider that choice, which conveys that this premise is incorrect. So, that is one reason why this choice is incorrect, and that is one reason why you may have selected this answer choice. The other reason can be that, okay, people are satisfied. Why drop it? Anyone who has tried, or most of the people who have tried this product are satisfied with it. So, why drop it? And that is where, and let me just write it properly. Sorry. So, why drop it? And that is where you made a mistake. The conclusion is about it being profitable. Will this chain be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich or not? Being satisfied does not mean more sale necessarily. We already know that the sale is not going to increase this much. So even if people are satisfied, that satisfaction may would most likely not convert into sales because we have been given this information. So we cannot consider this linkage that they are more satisfied. So that can result in more sales, and that is why this choice is incorrect. So if you fell in the trap of this answer choice, you have to find out the reason why it is incorrect and update your bridge table. Firstly, understand, did you understand what this choice conveys? Were you able to understand the exact meaning? Because it is a long choice. Did you understand it correctly or not? If you made a mistake, mark a cross here and write down the reason. Second thing, gauge the alignment. That is, match it with what the correct answer choice needs to convey, with what you identified here. If you choice B, many of the people who eat at chains restaurants also eat at restaurants of competing chains and report no strong preference among the competitors. So it just says that many of the people who eat in the restaurants of this particular chain, they also eat in the restaurants of other competing chains, and they have no one preference between these two. So now, does that information help you evaluate or understand whether the chain would be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich? Is it relevant to that conclusion? No, and that is why this is an incorrect answer choice. So please update your bridge table accordingly. Let's move to choice C now. Choice C, again not a popular choice. Among fast food chains in general, so this is in general about these fast food chains, there has been little or no growth in hamburger sales over the past several years as the range of competing offerings at other restaurants has grown. Now, does this choice in any way convey or indicate that the chain would be more profitable or it may not be profitable if it dropped the new sandwich? The answer is no. The information given here is completely irrelevant, and that is why this choice is incorrect. Let's move to choice D now. Choice D. When even one member of a group of diners is a vegetarian or has a preference for low fat food. Now, just relate it back to what this new sandwich has. What are the two characteristics? It is vegetarian and it has low fat compared to all other offerings of that particular chain. The group tends to avoid restaurants that lack vegetarian or low fat menu options. Now, what does this choice tell you? It tells you about a general behavior that if there's a group who are that the people in that group are going to dine out, and even if there's one member in that group who prefers to have a vegetarian food or who prefers to have a low fat food, then that group of 5 people, of 10 people, of 15 people, or whatever the number is, they will not go to restaurants. They will try to avoid the restaurants that lack vegetarian or low fat menu options. Directly, this choice just tells you about this general behavior. But what is the impact of this choice? It states, it conveys that before the new sandwich was launched, this particular chain, the restaurants of this particular chain, had no veg sandwich option, and they all had something which was of a particular fat level. Like there was something in terms of fat, all the offerings were similar. Now, after this has been launched, and earlier it is said that it was centered on hamburger. Now, after this has been launched, it has a new veg sandwich, and comparatively, this is low fat. So it is meeting these two requirements, right? Most likely, now with this new offering, most likely, I'm not saying that it will definitely happen, but most likely, this particular chain will attract more customers because the customers know that okay, even if we are going in a group in which one person wants a vegetarian or low fat food, we will get it there. With that understanding or with that thought, these customers will also start coming to this particular chain, and that is how this particular new sandwich, this particular new vegetarian sandwich, can help attract more customers. More customers means more sales. More sales means there is a likelihood of more profit. So, with this choice, we see a scenario in which the sandwich directly is not experiencing a very big sale, like it is not popular. So, the sale of sandwich is not increasing as such, but it is increasing the sale of the other products of this chain. And hence, there's a likelihood that it can increase this profit. And therefore, this choice makes us think that, okay, maybe dropping this sandwich may reduce the profit, or rather, it may not be more profitable if they drop the sandwich. And that is why this choice is the correct answer choice. Now, if you rejected this answer choice, let's go back to the bridge table. It is very important to understand why did you reject this correct choice. One thing, and the most probable reason, is that the choice does not explicitly state what the correct answer choice needs to convey. It is an implication from that choice. It is an inference from that choice. If you did not draw that inference, then you most likely you were not able to understand what is the impact of this choice, and that is why you discarded it. So going forward, you will see in choice E, an attempt by the chain to introduce a lower fat hamburger. So this is an attempt about another product which is a lower fat hamburger, failed several years ago. All right, since it attracted few new customers and most of the chain's regular customers greatly preferred the taste of the regular hamburger. So this is the impact of introducing this lower fat hamburger. It has been given that it was not able to attract new customers, that was not there, plus even the regular ones did not like it much, so it failed. Now, does this information in any way convey or indicate that the chain will be more profitable or it can be more profitable if it dropped the sandwich? The answer is no, and that is why choice E is also incorrect. So please update your bridge table to reflect this understanding. Why, if in case you selected choice E, please update your. With this, we have solved this question. I hope with this explanation you have a very good understanding of what a weakness choice should convey, what are the characteristics of a correct weakness choice, how to evaluate choices, and why you cannot select an answer choice that goes against the premise. You have your bridge table updated for this particular question. I hope you will be able to update your error log. Thank you and good luck.